Tonight, as Passover begins and Jews celebrate freedom from oppression, a white supremacist is under arrest suspected of making them targets of his hatred. 3 people were killed yesterday with a shotgun at 2 Jewish community facilities outside Kansas City. All of the victims, as it turned out, were Christian. The suspect, 73-year-old Frazier Glenn Miller, is a former Ku Klux Klan leader. We have 2 reports tonight. First, Dean Reynolds in Overland Park, Kansas.
Even before the police had arrived at the Jewish Community Center, before they had arrested the heavily armed shooting suspect nearby and bundled him away in a cruiser, a handful of people were on the scene and knew it was bad. One in particular.
And I am the daughter of a victim, and I am the mother of a victim.
Mindy Corporan told us she had driven to the center to hear her 14-year-old son, Reet, sing at a regional competition, and to join her father, William Corporan, a 69-year-old family doctor known to his 10 grandchildren as Popeye. Reet was a terrific singer.
Oh, say, can you see?
An A student and one step away from an Eagle Scout. A third victim, 53-year-old Teresa Rose Lamano, was visiting her mother at a nearby Jewish retirement home. All 3 killed were Christians, though because of the suspect's anti-Semitic statements, police believe Jews may have been the intended target.
So what happened is, Reet was going to the Jewish Community Center with my dad, who we call Popeye, and Reet named him Popeye, and he named my mom Yeye. And they were going to the Jewish Community Center for Reet to try out for Kansas City Superstar. And Reet's a freshman, and you can try out for that program when you're in high school, and he's been wanting to try out for 3 years. And this was his first time to get to try out. He's been practicing, and he had 2 songs that he thought he might get the chance to sing too, but the first one was On the Street Where You Live from My Fair Lady. He was dressed in a coat and tie and a black shirt and a hat. He was all ready. And then if they were going to give him a chance to sing again, he was going to sing You Will Miss Me When I'm Gone. And I was lucky enough to get to hear both of those songs before he left the house. I waited for my dad to pick him up, make sure everything was okay. And I had him sing them one more time. And I got to kiss him and tell him I loved him. And I left for a lacrosse game that got canceled then due to weather. And I left the lacrosse game and headed to the Jewish Community Center. And I didn't have my phone, but at the time I didn't need it. And when I pulled into the parking lot, I saw that my dad's truck was there and that the car doors were open. And I wondered why my dad wasn't just standing there. And as I pulled up, I saw that he was lying on the ground. And my first thought was that he'd had a heart attack. He was just lying there. But very quickly I realized that it wasn't that. And I knew that my dad was in heaven within seconds. And I ran around the truck and I saw my son lying there, and there were already 2 people with him. There were 2 men whom I don't know. And they were holding him, and I did not get a good look at him. I saw just that he seemed a little lifeless, but I did not get a significant look at him before someone named Mickey, who I'm very blessed for him, grabbed me and held me very tightly and pulled me away from the scene. And as I went into the Jewish Community Center, I saw bullet holes in the glass, and then it started to dawn on me what had happened. And I want to thank the Jewish Community Center. It was very unreal, and no one should have to go through that. But they, they were careful in locking down the location. It was a crime scene, and it didn't feel like a crime scene to me. It was my family. I had 2 family members that were lying on the ground. So I felt a lot of comfort. I felt God immediately. I prayed that Reet would survive. I prayed and prayed and prayed that he would survive. But I've later found out why he didn't. I know that they both died from head trauma. And I feel confident from what I heard that they didn't feel anything. They didn't know what was coming. They were ambushed. So it's going to be really hard. And I wanted to tell people that last night at the vigil. This isn't easy. People keep saying, how come you're so strong? And I'm strong because I have family. I'm strong because I have faith. I know that God did not do this. I know that there are evil actions. But what we do have is each other, and we have love, and we have prayer, and we have friends and family. Our phone's ringing off the hook. People from high school and college and people around the United States, and all of you here want to hear what we want to say. You know, it was a horrible act of violence, and our dad, and my son were at the wrong place at the wrong time for a split second. And we want something good to come out of this. We don't know what that's going to be, so we want people to let us know if they think that something good has come from it. I talked to the transplant group today. That was not an easy call. And hopefully my son will be a tissue donor, possibly an organ donor, they don't know. He was 14 and he had his permit, and he had already signed up to be a donor on his own, and they knew that. And so I answered all the parent questions, and so I hope that I hear that he's able to help other people.
A message of hope and healing tonight from the family of two of the victims of Sunday's violence in Overland Park.
Krista Dubill spoke exclusively with those parents of Reet Underwood just this afternoon. Krista, we cannot even imagine what an emotional day that must have been.
You can't listen to them talk today and not have tears in your eyes. We met up for what I thought was going to be an interview with Mom, who has been so strong, to talk about how she's doing, and what I sure didn't expect was for Dad to decide he wanted to talk too. He's a stay-at-home dad. He knows his days will be very different now, and they started that different life on Sunday night, the night of the tragedy.
The night of the incident, the first night, I found him in Reet's room in the dark with the door closed crying. And he just kept saying, I can't believe he's gone, and he's not coming back. And I said, he's in heaven, Lucas. He's in heaven.
When we talk about Boy Scouts, that is the hardest thing for me to talk about, because he was this close to getting his Eagle and getting his driver's license, and that's frustrating. I get up at 3 in the morning and I sleep in Reet's bed, and I do a lot of crying in his room, and I don't want his robe washed yet. And I don't want the last towel he used washed yet. I want to smell him and hold him close to me. He loved that blue robe, and I love wrapping up in that blue robe and feeling my baby next to me.
Is there a part of you that is dealing with any amount of anger at all?
I've chosen, I don't know why I've just blocked that out, because, you know, there's nothing more we can do. I mean, he's gone. And, you know, the man that did this will meet his maker. I know he will meet his maker.
What Reet and my dad deserve is that good comes from this, and that people love one another and care for one another as family and as friends as much as they can. I know that there are certain steps that you follow in grief, and I know that anger is one of them. And I would assume that at some point we will go through that phase. And I hope that it's short-lived, and I hope that we don't make irrational decisions because of anger. But we want love to supersede that.
And the family says love is conquering. They are amazed by this community's support. And we've put the entire unedited interview online. If you'd like to hear it, they wanted to share, and it's at kshb.com.
I have Remember Reet and then Remember Popeye bracelets. So our friend Josh Miller, a friend of Reet's, he's a freshman in high school, and he and Reet went to Kanakuk camp together, and our families are friends. And after they were killed, literally 3 days after they were killed, Josh created these bracelets. So he created Remember Reet, and on the back of it, it says Romans 8:28, which is a verse from the Bible, and then Remember Popeye, those were created also. And it says Romans 8:28. And on the inside of Popeyes, on the inside of these, it's hard to see, but it says faithalwayswins.org. And that's our website where these bracelets can be bought, faithalwayswins.org. We have created an event called 7 Days, Make a Ripple, Change the World. It actually started in early January with a songwriting competition. And the songwriting competition is now closed, but we had over 40 participants, or I'm sorry, 30 songwriters submit over 40 lyrics. The other aspect to 7 Days, Make a Ripple, Change the World is a peace walk. And the peace walk is April 13th. It'll be from the Jewish Community Center to the Church of the Resurrection. From April 7th to April 13th are our 7 days, and every day has a theme to it because each day is meant to be an act of kindness day. So our 7 days encompasses April 7th through the 13th, and they're all acts of kindness. And then we're bringing in speakers several evenings to help educate people and give understanding about people overcoming evil, overcoming adversity, and discussing different religious beliefs.
Family of the shooting victims have a plan to remember loved ones with random acts of kindness.
They're planning the event in the week leading up to the first anniversary of those shootings, and those shootings claimed the lives of 14-year-old Reet Underwood, his grandfather, Dr. William Corcoran, and Terry Lamano. KMBC 9's Haley Harrison is live at the Church of the Resurrection, where they made the announcement today. Haley?
And the families of those individuals were here today to announce the event that they are calling 7 Days. Their loved ones were killed in the shootings at JCC and Village Shalom last April. It is going to be a week of speakers and events to celebrate religious diversity and tolerance. It culminates with a peace walk on April 13th.
What we want to do is turn that around and have random acts of kindness overcome those random acts of hate. So we hope that our community, the entire metropolitan area, will join us in 7 days with making a ripple and changing the world.
And each day during that event is going to have a different theme ranging from love to onward. Reporting live in Leawood, Haley Harrison, KMBC 9 News.
7 Days begins Tuesday, April 7th.